Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Last summer, I had the privilege of being a part of a short-term mission team, a group of 5 people sent from Emmaus Lutheran Church to spend 3 weeks in the Philippines. We got on board a plane and flew to the other side of the world. Philippines are just off the coast of China. Within the Philippines, we were specifically in the Sorsogon province, about 200 miles southeast of Manila. During our time in the Philippines, we spent the time visiting Philippine Asian Missions, Inc., or PAMI, the small Christian mission group that operated in the Sorsogon province, but administered right here out of the Twin Cities area. Now, from a 3-week mission trip, I could talk to you about a lot, from the ministries of the local pastors to the role of faith in changing lives. But for this present setting, I would like to focus primarily on the economic conditions in which people that I met lived. During our 3 weeks in the Philippines, we had the privilege of traveling around to many different towns and villages and houses. Each place we went, we met someone new, had interesting conversations. One of the things I came to appreciate and learn about the people there is what they have to do to make a living. Many of the men are fishermen. I asked some of these fishermen on occasion how much fish they would catch in a day. The answer I get would be anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds of fish. That's for a full day's work. They need to sell that fish in the market to support their family. Another major industry or major occupation is rice farming. But the farmers there in the Philippines, they don't have the tractors and machinery like we have. Instead, everything is planted and harvested by hand. Often they use carabao or water buffalo to help plowing and tending their fields. In fact, the national pastors that are supported by PAMI, they get paid a salary of between $60 and $150 per month. And yet on just that salary, that's enough to enable them to live at the same standard that they would by some other occupation they might do in their province. I had the opportunity to see different houses that people live in. Some of the houses I saw, it's quite amazing how little, smaller even than just a typical bedroom that we're used to. Yet a family of 6 might live there. One house in particular that you see in the lower left corner had a floor and walls made out of bamboo slats. I can't imagine what it's like to live in a house like that when a typhoon comes through. Perhaps one of the most compelling experiences I had there in the Philippines happened as we boarded a ferry going from one island to the next. As our team got on board the ferry, I started hearing voices saying, "Joe, Joe, money, money." I looked over the edge of the ferry, and there I saw a group of boys just swimming in the water. Well, I understood from the local pastor traveling with us that these boys were skipping school to swim next to the ferry. They were waiting for passenger ferries to throw them money. Well, at first, I wanted to join in the fun, along with everyone else, taking a coin, throwing it in the water, watching the kids jump towards it, taking another coin, throwing it a different place, watching the kids jump to catch that other coin. But after a while, however, I really started feeling bad. Because to me, this was just an entertaining game, and yet to these kids, this was their life. I honestly didn't know if I was helping the situation or not, if I was helping by giving them money, or if I was just making it worse by encouraging them to skip school, certainly not helping their future career prospects. To conclude, I have certainly felt very privileged to be a part of this short-term mission, to visit the Philippines and see how another culture lives. Even though I might live in a house that's modest by Western suburb standards, it's a mansion compared to what these people live in a culture that, when I live in a culture that always asks for bigger, better, and more, it is quite humbling to see how little these people in the Philippines have, and yet how they're still managing to get by. I do look back on my time in the Philippines with great remembrance, and I'm happy I got to go. I had the opportunity to go. And perhaps someone here in this room will likewise have this opportunity someday to take a short-term mission trip. Mr. Toastman.